So probably like a lot of people, I got a bunch of these cheap bar clamps from Harbor Freight. These are specifically the 36-inch ones. They work okay, but the common problem with these, because they are just cheap aluminum, is they twist. And one of the other common things people do is they cut pieces of wood to fit down in there to make them twist less. So I finally got around to trying to use up some of my scraps, and let's see if I can make little wood pieces to go up in there that will work. Looking online, I saw that some people who had also made these used them are 1 1/16 inches high, 11/16 inch wide, and based on these, that's wrong, it's supposed to be 34 something. So sizes. So let's see, I got some example scraps that were just in the pile over there. So let's see if I can get these cut up and made into usable bits. Figured this old piece of 2x4, this piece of beat up cabinet frame, and this other piece of random scrap of pine, and we'll see how that goes. So for the 2x4, since 1 1/16 is less than the 1 1/2 in this direction, I figure I will go for the 11/32 and cut a bunch of thinner strips out of here, and then I can cut that narrower or such to get it down to 1 1/16 versus 1 1/2. That should work. At least it uses up a 2x4 and hopefully the drill holes won't cause problems, but either way, even if it's not as strong as a piece of solid wood would be, it's still stronger than air. Alright, first, because the miter box that I used to cut this off, didn't put square ends, squared up the end of the 2x4 first, and now just work and clean things up from that, and then get it all ready to cut the widths. And so this is going for the just slightly more than 11/16, or right around 11/16. And some of this I used the little rubber thing to help hold things, and that works pretty good. You can see the nice thin layer it comes off. And some of the other pieces I just did it using the push stick. Either way, you don't want to get your fingers near the blade, and you want to try and hold it so that it works. And the vibration, this is not a good, my garage is not flat. It's not a flat surface, so this specific spot for the bandsaw is not flat, and that's why the vibration causes things to move, but that's fine. And then for this one I tried that again. It worked pretty good. And then I forgot that I had this one, and luckily this was the lucky accident. This one ended up being the proper width, so I didn't run out of pieces, so that ended up working good. So here, first I'm cleaning off the edge and on one side, and some of these, since they had the cracks and such from the knots, and there's just an attempt to slow it down faster. It didn't work. Alright, so now we got those sorted, and now we're working on the 1 1/16 height for the pieces, and then I'm just trying to figure out which side is the best piece that I want to cut on. I guess that piece, or that side. So first trim it some, and then the 2x4 had a lot of issues. It worked, but it had some issues. It should be fine for what it's doing. I mean, it literally just has to fill it in and stiffen it up. And now that I have the pieces, I will stuff them in. And initially I forgot to cut that one to length. Oops, I can fix that. So, alright, now tap it in with a hammer, and use the extra board to get it down in the rest of the way, and put the cap in. Repeat. Tap, in, end. Tap, in, end. Drop stuff, pick it up, do it again. And as I found out, I had one extra piece, and I thought I didn't have enough, but it turns out that offcut of that wider piece was just right, as you'll see in a second. Accidentally, I had just the right number of pieces of wood. I didn't realize the widest piece cut in half ended up being the right width. So I thought I had one too few, because those all worked. But turns out this one actually is the same width. That should actually work. So before I put the last one in, I will show you what the difference in the twist is, assuming this will show on camera. So with no board in it and just held at that end, I can take it and twist it almost sideways, which is, this is with 3 fingers. That far with 2 fingers and a thumb. So let me put this piece of, and just to make sure it's not just this clamp, and let me put this piece of wood in this clamp, and then we'll try it again. Wood is now in, 2 fingers and a thumb. I only get that far. That's much better. So very cool. Quick and easy project.